Scorpio, let's clear some smoke. We're going to take a look at the overwhelming energy surrounding no contact at this time. So let's get right on into it. Divine may have 3 best cards for no contact. Playful innocence. Poker face. And solo refuge. Okay. So playful innocence in the mental space. Embrace a childish spirit where baby steps lead to joy, not seriousness. So one of you were playing, one of you wasn't. Probably a conversation or a moment of fun and joking that got a little bit out of hand. One person took it seriously, or someone unknowingly and unwittingly triggered something deep within the other person, and that person then was transported to a different time and space and energy and feeling, and got caught there, while the other person was at present still in the same place of where things started, and they're having fun and joking. So you kind of time jump there back to a place where you were hurt or harmed, and you got defensive, and the playful innocence then looked a little bit ugly. And you began to operate, that person began to operate in the space of the other person knew and was being intentional and trying to hurt them. When in reality, it was just a tripwire that occurred, a trigger that was pulled unnecessarily, because the person who got triggered didn't have their safety in place. So, poker face, beware of hidden intentions and underlying motives. And this is what occurred more than likely. Once you got pulled back or time jumped into that space of you got defensive, or the person got defensive, and started put on a poker face, and everything shut down. It was like it was like night and day. It's like, oh, well, I'm not playing anymore. And it's like, oh, well, and the other person was still trying to go along and thought it was a joke. And then it got more and more serious. So it wasn't something where there was a blow up or an argument, although the argument was taking place. It was just silently. Because it more than likely, the wisdom within you, the divine wisdom within that person who went poker faced, knew in fact that it was really not the other person's fault. But at the same time, the flesh blamed that personality, the ego did, because they should have known better, and they should know this. And they're doing it intentionally in order to build up this defense so that you could seem they were wrong and you were right. Now, solar refuge is in the spiritual space, and that's about energy of in solitude embrace, singles find the strength to regroup and rediscover their path. And this is what is needed. This is what the no contact is regarding, in order to take a look and examine, and more than likely the person who was triggered understands that they was pissed off about that, and it was easier to take it out on the innocent party. Now, it's not saying that the person making the jokes was completely innocent, but it is in the sense that it was not intentional. It was not their goal to hurt you, to bother you, to disturb your peace. It wasn't their goal. And the moment when it became a little more intentional is when they did understand that you were triggered, that you were bothered, and they kept going. That was disrespectful. That was out of pocket. That was not the right move. Okay. Because when you see somebody read the room, when you see somebody's like, no, that's not working. It's like when a joke lands, and when the joke doesn't land, you're like, okay, that didn't work. Wow, that didn't work. Wrong group, regroup, wrong group. Okay, so let's get into it. Let's get the mutual energy with the details. Deep breath, darling. Open mind, open heart. Let's see what the divine wants you to know. 5 best cards, please, for the mutual energy of this, the details. Ace of Swords. Six of Wands. Hangman in reverse. Page of Swords in reverse. I'll tell you what I'm chuckling in a second. And then Five of Cups in reverse. Listen, no one can go no contact like a Scorpio can go no contact. But it's very different energies when the Scorpio goes no contact. The Scorpio goes no contact in most cases in order to protect the other person and to gain control of their emotional self, their shadow energy. They're in a dark place. 9 times out of 10, if a Scorpio fully retracts in the moment, they're doing so to save everybody harm. Most importantly, yourself. Okay. Now to the other party, it seems it's really, really drastic, and because it's usually very drastic, very dramatic. It's literally like the light flips on, the light flips off. A cold breeze blows over. It's like if you watch Harry Potter at any point and the Dementors show up, it's like it's cold and all the life is sucked from the air. And it was just this dark, dank, it's just empty feeling. Yeah, it's like that. Totally. Totally. Like, what the? They shift the room. That energy shifts the room. Okay. So, but it's also it's a highly evolved defense system. It lets you know, I'm no longer playing with you. Stop before I have to stop you. Please don't make me have to stop you. It's a plea. It's begging for mercy. It don't feel like that, but it really is. Please don't make me stop you. Okay? Now, Ace of Swords. You know, a moment of clarity has come in for you in the space of where, for both of you, where this no contact has occurred. But it needs to be said from both sides of what really went on. Okay? And there's going to require some vulnerability here. On both where you both thought you were right and where you both thought you were wrong. Okay? The person who kept going when they knew that one person was triggered willfully did that. There's no, you did. There's no person alive. Now, a child might get away with it, but a person who's in the adult and been out here, been dealing with people for 20 plus years, you know when you have done something and the person is off. Their energy has changed. Now, you may want to persist and say, well, I wasn't trying to hurt you. I mean, you should just calm down, this, that, and that. That does not help. That's just, you walk in a room with water and you walk in a room with a bucket of gasoline, a bucket of water. You are pouring gasoline on the fire when you try to defend yourself. If you didn't do anything wrong, there's nothing to defend. But you can pour water on the situation and respect that the person is not in the same headspace that they were in. You can see it. You can feel it. They're saying it. There's usually 3 warning bells that are sounded. If at that point you don't understand that's a fire alarm and it's time to pull water out and put the fire out, whose fault is that? You're being now you're an arsonist. Okay? Either you're going to be a firefighter or you're going to be an arsonist. Which one? The other person who got triggered and reacted rather than responding, that is also your burden to bear, because you had a point to where you could have said, now you know that, now I know you didn't mean to do that, but you know I don't like to joke like that. You know, I'm sensitive about that. Now, once you send up the flag and say, listen, no, flag on the play. You know I don't like to play about that. You know I don't joke like that. Then the other person has the opportunity to be like, oh, okay, now they can't fake or feign. Oh, I didn't know. Now you know. And if the person then continues, now we got to fight, because now you you willfully and blatantly disrespecting me. Okay? So what the Ace of Swords in that moment of clarity has come in, where you both understood where you were both right and you were both wrong at the same time. The Six of Wands to the Hangman in reverse. But what you want to do, now that you understand those moments, you can come back in with the idea of focused on victory with each other to explain your points of view and where things went up. Okay? And the Hangman in reverse is there's no longer a need to kind of like try to figure out the gentlest way to do it. This is one of those situations where you just go in and say, the question would be, how can I be 100% honest and be 100% respectful at the same time, to understand that the other person on the other side of this is innocent and guilty, right? Innocent because they didn't realize that was going to trigger you, but guilty once they did understand after the point that they knew that they were in unwanted, unsafe territory. They were trespassing. And just because you didn't see the property line doesn't mean that the damn line does not exist. Now but it is also the responsibility of the person that was triggered in this situation to let them know you've crossed the line. These are boundaries, and maybe you didn't know, and I agree. There's nothing there to show you that there wasn't a place that was a no-go zone. But let me explain. Let me first tell you that you are in a no-go zone, and let me explain why. The Page of Swords is in reverse with the Five of Cups in reverse. There's nothing else to watch or to look over this person or to see or anything else. More than likely, you've probably really gone very quiet with this person, and they are in responding that way. They're mirroring your energy out of fear and concern more than anything, as to not disturb the person who was triggered. They don't want to do anything further. And they're probably upset a little bit here, but this Five of Cups in reverse is, there's no Empress in reverse. And Three of Cups upright. Okay. They're doing that as to not further irritate or aggravate the situation going on between the two of you all. It seems like you're with the energy out here, you both want to resolve this, and you understand why it needs to be resolved, but you need each other to make it clear for each other as well, okay? Because the other person, you both deserve explanations as to what went on, and you both deserve an apology from each other too. The Empress in reverse is the withdrawal energy, and then you have the Three of Cups, but withdrawing in order to resolve the anger, in order to come back to a space of community and cooperation, collaboration, and negotiation to get a better understanding. Really trying to figure out how this is going to make the situation better and not worse. Okay? So let's see. Divine, may I have 5 best cards for personal effect on our Scorpio, please? 5 best cards for personal effect. Seven of Swords in reverse. Page of Wands in reverse. Okay. The Devil upright. King of Swords in reverse. And then we have the Lovers and also the Two of Pentacles. I'm going to take that. Lovers. I really feel like it popped first. Either way, we're going to... It's all out here. Okay. This is a very important connection for you. And as soon as things went left, the only thing that either one of you, it feels like, have been looking to do is make things right again. So there's a lot of respect and you value each other very much. That was also comes out in the opening energy with playful innocence, poker face, and solar refuge. The first thing when it happened is you both felt equally bad. And the other person that pushed was probably trying to, don't be so sensitive. It's like, you don't understand. You don't understand what that does to me, okay? The Seven of Swords, Page of Wands, and the Devil card here. So the Seven of Swords in reverse and the Page of Wands in reverse. You do understand that this person was not in any way attempting to hurt or harm you intentionally, okay? You're in no way deluding yourself with that energy at all. You understand that they just didn't know. They did not know. Remember, the idea of the property line is there, but there's no fence, gate, anything there to stop the person from walking across it. It's just the property line, but doesn't mean it's not there. The Page of Wands with the Devil card here. This brought up some areas, some no-go areas for you. Things that you may have thought that you had resolved or that you were okay with. And it really brought some things into light with you, especially with this Page of Wands clarifying the Six of Wands. The victory is going to be twofold. One is that you're going to be able to resolve this situation and make peace with your loved one here. But the other is that now you realize that this is an area that you're going to have to address. You can't have, what if it happens again? Luckily, this was with someone that knows you well enough and loves you and cares for you. But if this happens again in an innocent way, with someone just making a joke or saying something about this particular subject matter, and it just ruffles your feathers, the response that you gave was you just shut down. You really locked yourself down. Again, remember that energy of, I did it to protect you and myself. But you ended up ostracizing everyone as well, and also putting yourself in a position of danger of, what if this person doesn't understand? What if they reacted differently and it did turn into something where you had to argue and fight? And it's just like, you understand that you need to resolve it. Like, you have to figure out a way to manage that particular type of pain until you can get to a place of where you're in a good space of healing with it. So you have to build the resources necessary to address it in your body, in your mind, and your heart when it comes up, because it's a powerful, powerful memory. One that shakes you, it rattles you, and you just go into this space, and it's just like, hold on, we gotta deal with why that's so raw. Okay. Time to heal the wound, not keep putting a band-aid over it. The devil card is here where it crept up on you, clarifying the hangman in reverse. You're clear to understand that these are some untamed demons, and you got to get them under your control. The king of swords in reverse to the lovers. You have had a lot of time with the empress also here in reverse. This is really about your reflection of getting your master plan together for yourself, and understanding that there's some chinks in the chain. There are some weak links, and it's time to reinforce those weak links, and get to work on those things. Again, because you're dealing with someone who you deeply love and who deeply loves you and respects you, it's going to make it much simpler for you to come together, and you all can address it. And more than likely, it's about you talking about it first. And when you get into this place of explaining to this person why it triggered you so badly, like not all the dirty, gory details, unless you want to, unless you feel like this person is trustworthy enough to tell them everything, all the details that you would normally not. But at least for them, you'll be able to say it out loud. This may be something that you never even talk about, which is why it has such power, right? Has such a strong emotion. But once you say it out loud to a person in a manner which they can understand why it is such a no-go zone for you, it'll also draw some of that power back to you. Okay. With the lovers and the two of pentacles here, this will then allow you guys to move forward. They will understand certain things. They can help you. They can then mitigate the point of not ever causing you any unnecessary harm. And they may also be able to offer you guidance and care, even if it's just a safe space to feel, to be able to unload that and have a good cry, or just really express your anger about it. They're going to be able to come in and just give you the softest, warmest physical and emotional hug, because then they're going to be like, thank you for trusting me with me. Now I understand it and totally get it. And I was effed up for how I am sorry. I was really just trying to XYZ and get you to lighten up, and now I realize there's no lightening up. What can I do to help? And more, and they may have tools and things that they use for something like that, or something similar to that, and they can put you on the path to being able to have your tools in place to resolve it if it were to come up with someone that you don't trust or that you don't know. You know what I mean? Two of Pentacles here, and then that brings things into balance for both of you. Okay. All right. So, divine strategy moving forward for this situation. Seven of Pentacles. Eight of Wands in reverse. Two of Wands in reverse. And Ace of Pentacles in reverse. Okay. So, Seven of Pentacles is where there's still a few more things that you need to do for yourself, and it feels like it's the energy of you need to take a closer look at this trigger again. You really need to revisit that place. And speaking from self-experience, it is very difficult to go to a place that caused you so much hurt and pain, because you've left it in the past for a reason. But it's haunting you. And you almost lost something in the fire here with your friend or your loved one, okay? And this time you were able to go stoic, put on a poker face, but you were so very close to exploding. Okay, you were able to dive on that grenade and not allow that to happen. There was something about who it was that allowed you to just stay focused and be like, no, it's you don't understand, even if it was just something like that. But if it is someone that you don't have that level of love and trust and care for, it may not go that way, and it may cause a lot of unnecessary pain on top of what you're already trying to deal with. So it's time to the Seven of Wands to continue to put in this work, because or you may have thought that you would never get triggered by it again, but now you realize, no, there's still work to be done here. Okay, before you can see the Eight of Pentacles, where you can expand, and it'll be a point of wisdom for you, a teaching tool, and not something that triggers you. Okay, the Eight of Wands in reverse to the Two of Wands in reverse. This is not the time for you guys to talk just yet. Because of the fact that you still need to get your bearings with the divine. The divine needs to do some work with you. Want you to again unload with the divine first. I often say that too. I do my very best not to get angry in public or with anyone around me, because you're not going to understand where that's coming from. But if I get angry in this presence of God and the divine, it's going to be, I'm going to be held, I'm going to be loved in that moment, and because I'm in a space of complete trust, and then I'll be corrected and healed in that moment, or put on the path to healing, and then I'll be able to resolve it within myself, which means I can resolve it in my surroundings. Okay, and that's what this is about, divine partnership. You only need to speak with God about this, and need to have this conversation quickly, and then you need to get into agreement with God about what's the next steps moving forward, that you're going to trust God to help you handle it, and that you can do it. You both can do it together. With his divine guidance, you'll be able to do it together. Now, Ace of Pentacles in reverse. That seed will be planted. That spiritual seed of healing will be planted, and then the rest will be able, everyone else on outside of you, externally, will be able to eat the fruit from this vine. It will no longer be poisonous or a danger to anyone else, especially you. Okay? All right. That is your session, my dear Scorpio. I do appreciate your time and your energy. I hope it was of assistance for you. And remember that back then is not now. Always be in harmony with your surroundings and stay sucker free. Hope to see you again.